Hi, welcome to Inside Bikes. Today we're riding something that kind of fell up on the radar when it was announced last year. It's KTM's 390 SMC R. I think that's what it says. And it's a supermoto style bike based on the ubiquitous 390 platform. So what you've got at the heart of it is the 390 Duke frame shared with the RC and the new Adventure R, but in a sort of stripped back supermoto style. And you know what? I really like it. And the surprising thing is, I didn't think I would. You know, supermotos have never really been my cup of tea. And as a reviewer, our job really isn't necessarily to think about our own personal taste, but to think about who would buy this. And I suppose supermotos have always been pitched at younger riders, young guys that have maybe not quite discovered how great a top box and panniers are and who don't quite benefit from heated grips yet. But I tell you what, as a 50-year-old guy, I really love this, and I'll tell you why. What I like about this, it's just really nice stripped back motorbike. It reminded me a lot like the TDR 250s and stuff that I used to like in the 80s and 90s. To ride it, it's really light, it's simple, it feels alive. There's not much to it, but what's there is really, really good. This is a £5 grand motorbike, 5.3, 5.4 it is, and what you get for that is quite staggering. You've got adjustable suspension, really good quality, Michelin tyres on it, paper, single brake setup by Brembo, by Brie, caliper, doesn't seem that much to write home about. You've got a massive big 320mm front disc, which is bigger than you get on KTM's 690 Supermoto, and they're brilliant. It's such a lightweight bike, you can chuck it around. Look, I'm an older guy, we're an insurance company, we promote sensible riding, sticking to speed limits, but check out some of KTM's own promo videos and you can see just where they're positioning this as a real hooligan bike, a bike that you can do skids and wheelies on. Even for me, riding it sensibly, it feels so alive. It's light, you get on the throttle, front end feels a little bit light, goes wherever you want it to go. And I think importantly, as an older guy, it feels like a credible little plaything. You know, motorbikes are getting expensive, we all know that. The thought of having a 10 or even 15 grand motorbike in your garage as a weekend toy, it's too much for me and it's too much for many people. But this, it's at £5,300. I can see me having this as something that sits in the garage and I bring it out on sunny Sundays and when I want to have a bit of fun. Look, it's not super practical. It's a supermoto, it's not particularly comfortable, very little weather protection, you've got a 9 litre fuel tank that doesn't give you much range, but it doesn't matter. It's a great fun bike because it is stripped down. What it isn't is what it is. It's not a true supermoto in a supermoto style. You know, supermotos, they're converted motocross bikes with road wheels on them. This is based on the Duke platform, so it's a trellis frame, slightly longer suspension, 17-inch wheels, but it does feel like, for me, a more enjoyable option than the Duke. If I was to turn up at bike meet on a 390 Duke, I'd kind of feel a little bit like, why is he riding an A2 bike? Why is he riding a bike that's not the Twin or the Super Duke? With this, I think I could absolutely own my left field choice of riding because it is something that stands on its own 2 feet as a credible motorcycle. And if you want a supermoto that you ride on A2 license, there's not that much out there. I think only really Suzuki, we've got their new DRZ out there, they've got a supermoto version of that. That's knocking on for 8 grand. It feels like this is very much in a class of its own. You know, the suspension is ahead of what I would think. 43mm WP Apex suspension, loads of adjustability. You can see you've got the clickers on there that you can change very easily. It's way ahead of what you'd expect on this sort of budget bike. The dashboard is kind of in line with what you'd expect on a supermoto. It's a bit of a slither of a thing, but it's very readable and you know, you couldn't ask for any more. Because of the upright riding position and where it's placed, you do have to kind of actively look down at it. But again, what we're getting from these bikes is much more than you'd expect a few years ago. It's got KTM's 399cc single cylinder engine, 45 brake horsepower, so not quite at the limit of what an A2 bike can do, but not far away. And it's got a really nice character that fits that sort of chuckable little bike, loads of torque. This one's got the accessory quick shifter fitted, which is about 250 quid extra on top of it. It's like a little video game, zip, 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 zip. on these sort of bumpy back roads. It is a lot of fun. If I've got one negative, it's kind of that the engine doesn't quite cash the checks that the chassis is writing. And what do I mean by that? The chassis is brilliant, really amazing chassis for the price and in general. The engine is good, it is a good engine, but the chassis seems to want more than it can give. But that's not a criticism. You know, KTM are the most rebellious motorcycle manufacturer we have, but even they've got to play to the rules of A2 license and Euro 5 Plus. They've got to make a bike that's quiet, they've got to make a bike that meets certain power restrictions. Is it a practical proposition? Probably not. Nice around town, you've got a nice upright riding position, but overall, I have been massively impressed by this bike. It's a bike that, to be honest, when KTM said, "Do you want to ride it?" I was a bit like, but you know what? Sunny afternoon, full tank of petrol. I'm well in on this. Thanks for watching. I'd like to hear your comments in the comment section below. Read our article. Let us know what you think of this kind of bike. Would you buy one of these rather than the Duke? I know I would. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay safe.